So basically, Spark is a computation algorithm over clusters, but it can be also applied for single files. It's kind of similar to map reduce programs, which basically execute the data analysis algorithms and learning machine over big data. So, but Spark is better than these programs, mainly because of the time of execution. It's much better. The execution time it's good. So, and also it's good because the data analysis is made over it's in memory. So that's why Spark is better than the MapReduce programs. And also some of the advantages of Spark is that it has an SQL um, plus algorithms that they can run over Java, over Python, Scale. So it can be applied to all these languages, and also not just standalone, but they can also be applied on web. So that's a good advantage. The other thing is that they have the learning machine library that is really good. If you have I don't know, notice Google, YouTube, Facebook, all of them use these learning machines for marketing, for campaigns, and all those things. They learn what are you doing and they suggest you things. So they do this because of the data analysis and because of the learning machine. So the other thing is like Spark, the Spark streaming. Spark streaming is basically for analyzing real-time programs. For example, all the programs execute logs or they throw logs. So they are constantly moving, and this feature can help us to analyze data in real time. So that's why it's really important. For the GraphX is another function for analyzing graphs. So Facebook use this for suggest your friends. So also analyze the data. So but using the GraphX. Now I'm gonna explain you how Spark work. So basically an important terminology is RDD, which is a resilient distributed data set. So it's the only way that we can manipulate our data. So basically, as you know, the data nowadays is distributed around clusters. The information is not in the same place. It's distributed in the network or through clusters. So the way that Spark works is through an Spark context, which is an object to access the data. So that the data can be on files. So and this information is sent to RDDs, which is the information in which we can put some actions and manipulate or compute this information through data sets. It's basically the way that Spark works. Let me explain you a little bit more about this. Basically, Spark has two types of activities. The first one is transformations, which is basically transform the information. For example, in a data set of 1, 2, 3, 4, and we apply some transformation in this data. Like for example, we're gonna filter this information just because I just want the numbers 2 and 3. So now my information is transformed and I have another data set here, but filtered. So another type of actions, it's actions, which is basically we gonna apply some actions to the data set. For example, we gonna use this data set, which is like RDD3, for example, and we're gonna count the amount of members in that data set. So the result is 2, because we are not taking care of this data set, but of this data set. So basically is the way in which Spark works. First transforming the information and then manipulating the information through actions. So let me explain you a little bit more about this. We have RDD1. We apply some transformation, call it T1, and like a filter, and then we can do this gonna be RDD2, and then we're gonna apply, I don't know, extraction, for example, which is the T2, the transformation 2, and finally we're gonna get the result, which is RDD3, in which we wanna apply the first action, which can be count the amount. Okay, this is how, and at the end, this is our result, is X. So this is our final result after processing the information. We get this that the user can manipulate, well, can see this at the end. Another important thing about Spark is persistence. We don't want to repeat the process again for getting X, for example, Y. So we just gonna use the last RDD, and then we gonna, this is persistent, this is not destroyed, so we're gonna apply some other actions over this RDD. This is persistent, so we don't want to repeat the operations over all the RDDs, just over the last one. It makes Spark a really fast program. So as mentioned in the first moment, Spark works in memory, so that's why it's also really fast. The last part of the presentation is about how works the application Spark in practice. So basically we have here a driver. So the driver goes to the Spark context, which is a link to the file that we wanna manipulate, a file .log or txt. So, but this is assigned to an RDD, which is the one in which we wanna apply the actions or the transformations as we saw some minutes ago. So basically the program Spark has a driver that is connected to an object, which is call it a Spark context, which is linked to the file. It can be also many files, but we had to use other objects to point out to the files, and this will go return us an RDD, and in the RDD is in which we're gonna apply the actions or the transformations for obtaining the result that we want. So guys, thank you for watching. I hope that this information can be valuable for you, and